A shiver and a tear lets you know Jack Frost is here. If you try to turn around,
Jack Frost.
when you hear his icy sound,
Jack Frost.
he's sure to disappear. But you know Jack Frost is here.
Welcome to the wonderful world of dodgy movies and TV. I am your host, movie and TV Mistress, and if you can't tell, it's Christmas and I have a big ball. Anyway, so last week I said that I hadn't been able to get a hold of a copy of the sequel to Jack Frost, the horror film. Well, I did. So here we go with Jack Frost 2, Revenge of the Mutant Killer, or is it Revenge of the Killer Mutant Snowman?
It's Christmas time again in Snowman, and they want to get away from it all.
It was exactly a year ago that it happened.
And that's why we should be somewhere else for Christmas.
Another beauteous day in heaven, eh?
Welcome to the Tropicana, your last resort before paradise.
This is a job for Captain Fun!
But there's trouble in paradise.
Get me the head of island security.
Oh, no, not the scary dude. Scary dude's already here. You got 18 bodies to explain, huh?
Food poisoning.
Mutant Killer Snowman.
Jack's back, and he's still one cold son of a...
Miss me?
Let's get it on.
Ooh, now there's something that needs a little Christmas stuffing. Oh yeah, I'm the man.
Well, that isn't the cutest little thing.
Oh my God! Wouldn't mind practicing a little breaststroke myself.
Do you hear that?
What's up?
The fat lady's warming up.
Jack Frost 2
Are you ready to scream?
from Apex Entertainment.
Where we left off, Jack was, well, defeated, and that he was put into antifreeze and then put into antifreeze containers and buried in Snowmanton. And, well, somebody digs him up and brings him back to life with a hot chocolate. Because, sure. I have to say, when you compare the sequel to the original, you do see that there is a definite quality change. I mean, there was humour in the first one, but the video quality was good, the special effects were good, the CGI not so much, but it was, 1997. This is now 2000, and the CGI seems to get worse, and we have more puppets. And this movie is kind of inspired by a certain Gremlins. I strangely remember mentioning that in the previous movie that kind of reminded me of Gremlins. This one definitely is inspired by Gremlins. Why? Well, they try to defeat Jack again on this tropical island at the Hotel Tropicana. Yeah. Where drinks are free. I don't know. It's Christmas time a year later, and they're at Club Tropicana with Captain Fun. Then there's this English dude called Ray Cooney. Well, the actor's Ray Cooney, but he's probably more well known for writing a very famous play called Run for Your Wife. Yes, Ray Cooney, the writer of Run for Your Wife, is the father of the writer and director of this film, Michael Cooney. The same Michael Cooney, as I mentioned previously, also wrote Identity, which is a better horror film. Though a lot of people won't say that because it's basically 10 Indians. Anywho, moving away from Identity and the writer-director and his dad, they decide to try and defeat him the same way they did in Snowman, but it's a sequel, so the way you defeated the first time is not going to work the second time. Did nobody watch Scream, or Scream 2, sorry, when he explains that? You can't defeat him the same way. It's not the same person, it's going to be something slightly different. When they try to defeat him by putting him into a big pool of coolant / antifreeze, it does hurt him. He gets very painful, he runs off slightly melted, but in the same way that gremlins, when they get wet, shoot off furballs that become, well, more gremlins, and one specifically has a spike or a mohawk, as they do in Gremlins and in Gremlins 2. This movie, after he gets soaked in the antifreeze for the second time and doesn't work, yeah, he shoots off snowballs that hatch and become, well, little mini killer snowmen, and wouldn't you know it, one of them has icicle mohawk. And they just try and kill them in similar ways that the mum in Gremlins tried to kill the gremlins in that kitchen. But none of them work until they discover that a certain cocktail that the bartender guy has made seems to kill them. Why? Okay, let's see. So at some point in the first movie, when they were in the vat of antifreeze and Snowman Jack Frost was melting, and the police officer guy was, well, in there struggling with him, apparently he bled a little bit, and a bit of his blood is now intermixed with Jack Frost, so he can sense when Jack is near. Because, sure, let's go down that route. This is the same route that Hideaway went down, and I will get to that movie at one point, because I have to do another Jeffrey month. Anyway, Jack Frost now has a biological link, via a little bit of blood, to the police officer. I don't care about his name, who cares? He's just a police officer guy. Meh. So the sheriff has figured out that he's genetically linked because of the blood that went into the antifreeze, but has completely forgotten about his own specific allergy that he has to, well, bananas. Guess that means he can't be Banana Man then. It's the wife that figures this out after she spills some of the cocktail on one of the snowballs. And damn it, that joke from the first movie about what's the difference between snowmen and snow women comes back. Darn it. Snowman has snowballs apparently. And I thought snowwomen did, but they were a bit higher up. So Jack Frost. His kids are all destroyed by a cocktail with bananas. And he comes back after holding one of his dying little babies to take revenge on them. And traps the sheriff's wife. The two other people from the original movie, they go hide in the freezer. And there's a little gag at the end of the credits revolving that. And wouldn't you know it, he shoots a banana with a bow and arrow at Jack Frost and it blows Jack Frost up. Whoop-de-doo, movie's over. But I haven't mentioned one of the other bizarre things. So, the movie, as I say, is a direct sequel. It came out a couple of years later, but it's set a year after the first movie. You've got 4 cast members back. They explain away the kid not being in this movie because, you know, the sheriff and the wife had a kid. He's gone off to be with his cousins, and the parents have decided they needed a break somewhere tropical where it won't snow because, well, sheriff's having flashbacks. And is seeing a psychiatrist. The original movie opened up with some old man supposedly telling a story to a kid about Jack Frost. As we saw the credits on baubles on the tree. This movie opens with basically the sheriff reiterating what happened to a psychiatrist played by Ian Abercrombie. Now, if you know who Ian Abercrombie is, good for you. The reason I know who he is he's the guy who told Ash Williams in Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, to say Klaatu Barada Nikto. But, as we all know, Ash is an idiot and wasn't listening and said Klaatu Barada. Because that works. Anyway, He turns up in a few movies. He's another British actor that I've seen in a few different random B movies, and he's in this. As I've said, you've got Ray Cooney, famous writer, and there was an FBI agent in the first movie who got his face bitten. Now, as far as I understood it, he was dead at the end of the first movie. Well, the actor never came back, but the character does. Turns out he had 15 surgeries and now has an eye patch and is a scary dude. This movie ups some of the ridiculous deaths in hilarity and kind of cartoony form, including an anvil made of ice.
Okay, here we go again. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I must be out of practice. Oh, fuck it.
Sure. Well, there's a lot more tits and ass in this one. Because we only had Shannon Elizabeth in that first one, so we up it with a whole load of random women that we've never even heard of since this movie, probably won't, and they all die very quickly. Pretty much they're there to be tits and ass and die in comical form. The movie was left open for a sequel, and to this date has not been made. But I do know that the writer and director is very fond of these films, as am I, and would love to make the sequel if anyone would probably, I guess, fund it. I'm surprised it's not on Fund Me or something, or Indiegogo. Anyway, if you watch the end of this movie, it's hinted at, because it was 2000, and wouldn't you know, there was a famous bad blockbuster that came out with Matthew Broderick. There's a boat with a couple of Asian guys. Goshia! But it's not Godzilla. No, it's Jackzilla. So the original premise, because of that, was that we were going to have a third movie, and it was going to be about Jack Frost coming back as a giant snowman and attacking, I guess, New York, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, Jackzilla. Because it worked for Killer Clowns in Outer Space to call, their last one Clownzilla. I guess Jackzilla, Godzilla, anything with Zilla. I mean, does it mean giant? Why is King Kong not Kongzilla? Wow, that's a cool name, Kongzilla. King Kongzilla, yeah. But anyway, that never happened, and if it does, that would be interesting. I just hope the quality goes back up instead of further down, because I don't want, as the Cinema Snob refers to it, made on shitio, or filmed on shitio. Who does? Though the quality of the film stock and effects goes down, the humour and intent goes up. And you can tell it's not shot anywhere tropical. They tried to make you think it is, but it's not. It looks like maybe a backyard of a fancy hacienda type hotel in California, maybe. Yeah, it didn't look very warm. But that's just my thought. It's not a great film, but sometimes the most enjoyment you can have is watching a bad movie that knows it's bad and is just taking the piss. The actors from the original movie, including the Adrian Barbeau lookalike, come back and do a brilliant job and get even funnier. The scary guy that comes back and replaces the original FBI agent is hilarious. I would love him to come back and do the third movie if they ever do that. I do recommend it. It kind of avoids showing Jack Frost as much as it did in the first movie, but it's still the same voice actor, which is brilliant. But don't just go, oh, well, it's a bad movie and it's a B movie and who wants to see that? Actually check it out. So, next week I will be reviewing another Christmas film, and I apologise for the delay. I have been very unwell for the past few days, so I haven't been able to film or do any editing just due to a severe sickness. But I'm going to try and get another one out as quickly as I can, and possibly do some sort of video about a certain action movie that might be or might not be considered a Christmas film. I'm considering it. Come back next week for another Christmas review. And remember, I am still looking for votes on what I should review for New Year's Eve. Should it be Get Crazy or should it be Terror Train? You choose. Get Crazy has Malcolm McDowell. Terror Train has Jamie Lee Curtis. Anyway, till then, remember what I always say. There's a lot of judgy movies out there, but they're all good in their own way, I think. Maybe? Anyway, remember to hit the subscribe button. When you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell down below. And comment down below. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, on my website, which I will update, I promise. And I will see you all again next week. Bye!
The snowman was a jolly happy soul, with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal.
Frosty the snowman is a fairy tale, they say. He was made of snow, but the children know how he came to life one day.